everyone, welcome back guys. Hope you all are doing well. This is Mohammad Badruddin back again with lab number 2 from CSRF cross-site request forgery vulnerability from ProSwigger. So in today's lab, it's saying CSRF where token validation depends on request method. So the description of this lab is like this lab's email change functionality is vulnerable to CSRF. It attempts to block CSRF attacks but only applies defenses to certain type of requests. To solve the lab, use your exploit server to host an HTML page that uses a CSRF attack to change the viewer's email address. Fine. And we have one valid credential, username is Wiener and the password is Peter. So let's go. I'm going to turn on the burp proxy on my browser and directly going to log into my account. So the username is Wiener and the password is Peter. Hit enter, don't save. This is our email. Now let's just try to change the email address once so that we can get the request here in the burp suite and we can further analyze that request. So let's say Wiener1 at cyber.sec. Fine, let's just change this. And now you can see the email gets changed. If we come back here, you can see there is a post request with the endpoint myaccount/change email. And if we see that request closely, we can see the method is HTTP method is post. This is the endpoint. This is the host, fully qualified domain name. There is a session cookie, and in the post body data, you can see two parameters are there. One is email and the second one is CSRF. So if we send this request to the repeater to just analyze and see whether CSRF token is validating the session or not, or something like this. So let's go. I'm just going to change it from Wiener1 to Wiener2 because if the email is already assigned to someone, it is going to say that this email is already assigned or something like this. I'm going to change also the CSRF token a bit. You can see the last character is capital V, uppercase V, and I am going to change it with the lowercase e. Send this request. And if we send this request, you can see here invalid CSRF token. Why? Because somewhere this application in the backend is checking this given CSRF token with the session cookie. Okay, so whatever CSRF token is assigned to a user, that CSRF token is tied with the session cookie. And if any of these gets changed, it is not going to let us perform this action. Fine. Another thing we can check if we do not have CSRF token, and if we remove this CSRF token from here and try to change email now, and this time it's saying missing parameter CSRF. That means without CSRF, it is not going to let us perform the action. And if we have CSRF parameter, but the value does not match with this session cookie CSRF token, then it is again will not let us perform that action. So why not? Let's say I'm going to just change it same like before, and I'm going to test it in another way by changing the HTTP method from post to get. So right click here, you can see there is an option change request method. Click on it. Now you can see the request gets changed from post to get method, and whatever we have before in the post data section, body data section, it's now becoming a query string, and we have both of these parameters in that query string. So email and CSRF. So if we try to change the email now, let's see if this method is allowed or not. So send this. And you can see 302 found. Instead of giving us any error like CSRF is missing or invalid CSRF token, this time it's redirect our request to this endpoint. And if we follow the redirection, and let's see if it's changed our email or not. So we come back here and just refresh. Right now our email is before our email was winner1, refresh it, we should see here winner2. So that means we can change our email address by both of the HTTP methods, post and get as well. Now the thing here to be checked is if we remove this CSRF token. Okay, so remove the CSRF token from here and let's try to change our email, and this time I'm going to say winner3 at cyber.sec. Try to send it, and now you can see again here it's redirecting us to this endpoint. So if we follow redirection and we try to search here winner3, so you can see our email address already changed. If you want to see on the browser, you can see now our email gets changed. That means within the post request, the application is checking whether CSRF token is there or not, and the CSRF token is tied with the session cookie or not. But if we change the method and put it get method instead of post, it is not going to check the CSRF token validation. Okay, so that means this particular functionality is vulnerable to CSRF within the get method, get HTTP method. And one more thing which is very important, that in the first video I define like these three conditions must be fulfilled. First of all, the relevant action, that means the action you are going to perform by exploiting CSRF must have an impact. Okay, so if we change the email of any other user, at that instant we may change his password also, and once we get the password, that's it, we can log into that account and we can get any information exist inside that account. That information may be PII, which is personally identifiable information, maybe PHI, protected health information, maybe any kind of trade secret for the organization or critical business information, maybe copyrights information, it could be anything. Okay, so it depends on the information exist in that account, but definitely this action is relevant to perform. So this is checked, fulfilled. The second point is cookie based session handling. So of course there is cookie based session handling, because if we see the post request here, there is session cookie. Even in the get request there is session cookie. Fine. No unpredictable request parameters. So of course you can see whatever is in the request, that's enough for changing the email, or that's enough for that functionality to be worked. So we do not need, or anything, any parameter or any argument is not hidden, which we need to guess. Okay, so even in the post request, you can see everything is here. The session cookie is there, all the user agent, accept language, accept encoding, content type, all the headers are there. So we do not need to guess anything here. Fine. So all these three conditions are checked. That means we are good to go. So now let's go, and I am going to test that exploit. So first of all, once you go for the bug bounty hunting, penetration testing, you are not directly going to engage with the existing accounts. The workflow is like I'm going to create 2 users, or maybe more than 2 users if I have more privileges. Maybe I create 2 normal user and 1 user with more privileges than the normal user. And then I'm going to test the vulnerabilities and bugs among those users. Okay, and all those users under my administration. So that means if I see any behavior that is not intended, I will then go for the testing to another user or to rest of the users. So that means first of all we need to check the exploit on our user. So I'm going to exploit server. This exploit server, basically you can consider it as an attacker controlled server, and here, because we are trying to exploit that vulnerability, so this is our controlled server. Because this Portswigger Web Security Academy does not allow you or does not allow anyone to use any other domain, okay, or to victimize out of the band, or to use anything out of the band. So that's why they provide here the exploit server. Although in real life scenario, there are many online sites there. Those sites will provide you one unique link, and you can use that link for checking out of band interactions. And if you get the hit on that link, so that means the application or anything is hitting your provided link. Fine. So enough talking. Let's just do it. Okay, so if you don't have the commercial or professional version of Burp Suite, no issues. Here we are going to write our own exploit. Okay, so we are going to create one form. Okay, and let's say action. I'm going to define the action is actually we will perform on this endpoint. So I'm going to copy the URL from here and paste it here. Second thing, method. So method is equal to get method, because it is vulnerable on get method, not on post method. So these two things are important within the form. Now I'm going to close the form. Okay, and within this form, actually we need to put some kind of data. So I'm going to put here one input tag, and within this input tag I'm going to define type is equal to hidden, because I don't want the normal user to see this input field. Okay, and name is equal to, name is the parameter name, which is email, and the value of it, what we want to change. So let's say instead of Wiener, I'm going to say radar at cyber.sec. Fine, this is the email we want to change. Now the form is completed. We just need to submit this form automatically, because we don't want any user intervention in this part. Because if we offer a submit button to the user, it is going to be the suspicious one, because user may think like, what I'm going to submit. Okay, and if we show this field on the browser also, it is suspicious. So we want to autofill this form. I'm going to add here one script tag. Okay, and within that, let's just submit this form. So document dot forms, and because in this page there is only one form, so the ID of it is 0, and just submit it dot submit. Okay, that's it. Normally this is enough to exploit that. So before going to deliver this exploit, I'm just going to check it on my user. So let's just view exploit, and as you can see, our email gets changed. Refresh here also, you can see our email gets changed. That means this is perfectly fine. Now the only thing is needed is at the time you send a phishing email with the link of your exploit server, at the time user click that link, at that instant user must be logged in, or the targeted website must be logged in by the user. Okay, so let's go back to the exploit server one more time, and this time I'm going to deliver this exploit for other users. So I'm just going to store it. Now deliver exploit to victim. And okay, as you can see, lab is not solved up to now, because this email is already assigned to someone. So I'm just going to add here 1 and store this exploit one more time and deliver this. And this time, hopefully, we will solve the lab. Yeah, we solved the lab. Now, let's see if you are still blurry somewhere in your mind that how this exploit server works. So what exactly I am doing is, let's say I created one HTML page. Okay. HTML. Within HTML we have body, and within that I write few lines like H1, and it's saying welcome to the bogus insurance corp. Okay, and I'm going to close that tag. Then within the paragraph tag I'm going to say your father left one secret property for you with us. Now it's time to take ownership of it, something like this, so it looks legitimate. Okay, and then fine. Okay, fine. Now just we need to close it. First of all, I'm going to close body tag, and after this I'm going to close our HTML tag. So let's say I create this and save it as test.html. Fine. Now I'm going to open my terminal, and here I'm going to start my Python web server. It could be exam server, it could be Apache. You can use anything you want, it's up to you to publish that HTML page. Fine. So I'm publishing it with HTTP Python server. Now let's go here, and I'm going to just think that I sent this web page within an email with the link, and the link is something like this: http://127.0.0.1 and test.html. Okay, so I sent this link within an email by saying some content that okay, this is very important, you need to go to that link to register your user or to claim your property what your father has been left for you. And instead of this IP, localhost IP, an attacker or a threat actor, they may have a registered domain or fake domain they have. So instead of that, we can put here that domain name, and that's it. Once the user will click that email link, it will going to open on the browser, and it looks like this. So you can see, okay, you can see, right? Come on, it's again and again. I'm going to try to stop it somewhere, but it's redirecting us. But if we come back here, you can see each time any user click on that link, we are going to get here the hit, all those hits. Fine. So let's see if I need to check my IP horizontal. Here I'm checking ifconfig, and this is my IP. So I'm going to try to access that from my Windows machine. So 192.168.0.177 slash test.html. So let's see if we get hit here from different IP or not. Okay, hit enter, and as you can see, you get hit from my Windows machine. And on my Windows machine, I get the page for login, because on my Windows machine I'm not logged in and there is no session on that particular site. Okay, so I hope the picture is clear for you. In the future videos we are going to see more cases about CSRF, and we go deeper in creating the payloads for CSRF. Okay, so that's it for this lab. I'm going to see you in the next video. If you like the content, please like, subscribe and share. See you. Bye.